We know the World of Outlaws will have quite a few returning sprint car teams for 2025, but there are still several question marks, including one car that's likely dropping off. We'll run you through all of those teams today, plus preview USAC Midgets at Bakersfield, interesting sponsorship news for the Fast Series, and more. Let's go. It's Wednesday, November 27th. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is DIRTRACKR Daily presented by Kubota Genuine Parts. As I write this, we need just 47 YouTube subscribers to cross 37,000. So if you're not one of those people yet, please consider joining 36,953 of your closest dirt racing friends by hitting that subscribe button. Also, before we dive in, let's handle a little bit of business. The winner of the Gateway Dirt Nationals tickets, courtesy of Flow Racing, is Diana Fry. I sent Diana an email this morning, so we'll get all of that worked out. Thanks to everybody that entered. It was a shocking number of submissions, which was pretty incredible. Remember, the Gateway Dirt Nationals inside the Dome in St. Louis is next week, December 5th through the 7th. If you cannot get to the Dome, Flow Racing is the place to be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with live streaming coverage. If you need a Flow Racing subscription, click the links below or visit DIRTRACKR.com/FlowRacing. We'll get started today with some updates on the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Full-Timers list for 2025. Confirmed to be back next season. We've talked about this a bunch. David Gravel, Sheldon Hahnschilde. We know that Cole Macedo and 2C Racing will compete all season as well. I'd expect Donnie Schatz and Carson Macedo back as well, and I don't have any reason to believe that things will change for Buddy Kofoid and Roth Motorsports. So that covers the top 5 in the standings. Things get much murkier from there, though, so here is where we stand at the moment for the drivers further down the Outlaw order. The big question mark I think a lot of people have right now is Gio Scelzi and the KCP 18. I think a few months ago, this was a team that I would have easily predicted would be back with the Outlaws, but now we're not 100% sure. A few weeks ago, in advance of the last World Finals night, Gio shared a post to Instagram that said, quote, "one more night," and had a slot machine emoji. If we're reading between the lines here, only one sprint car series has a gambling theme that would go with the slot machine emoji, and it isn't the World of Outlaws. Since it seems clear that High Limit is set to lose at least a few teams and none of the Outlaw top 5 are going anywhere, grabbing Gio and KCP wouldn't be a bad coup for Brad Sweet and High Limit. This team took a solid step forward in 2024 with improvements in basically every major stat category, and we even talked at various points this season about him being a championship contender. Some tough nights, though, including late in Central Pennsylvania and at World Finals, hurt them, and I think they still need just a bit more pace overall to really contend with Gravel and Macedo. If we want a competing side, though, against the slot machine emoji, KCP Racing did share the Outlaw schedule when it was released last week to their social media channels, which they did not do with High Limit, so maybe they're in and we just don't realize it yet. Moving down the order, despite a few whispers about conversations with High Limit, I think Logan Schuchart comes back to the Outlaws. Some of his sponsorship has Outlaw ties, so I don't think the 1S makes a move here. I also think there's a solid chance that Bill Balog is back on tour with the series in 2025. This was kind of our surprise addition for 2024, and despite some nasty crashes, this team was competitive regularly. We might have to wait a bit for confirmation, but nothing I've heard makes me think things will change there. The bottom 4 teams in the Outlaw standings, though, all have questions going forward. Brock Zearfoss appears to have hired Jim Shuttlesworth to crew chief the 3Z, and he picked up that late season BAPS win after the Outlaw year was over. But there have been rumblings for a while that this car could be off the road and headed for a pick-and-choose schedule centered around Central PA next year. Just like with Jacob Allen, I think Zearfoss could benefit from that type of schedule and the rise in purses in PA and the ability to just pick and choose what works for them. The other 3 cars, the Side 7S, the Premier 70, and the Bill Rose 6, I think could all be back on tour next year, but all 3 will likely have different drivers. Rose went through several different guys in the 6 after he was injured earlier in the year that included Kelby Watt and Robbie Price, Dylan Cisney. No word yet on who could get that seat on a more permanent basis. With Sides, I haven't heard anything definitive about the 7S, but there's some feeling out there that Landon Crawley won't be back. Where he goes and what Sides does to replace him is unknown, but it's hard to picture the Outlaws without the Jason Side 7S as part of the series. And then finally, the Premier 70, the Pete Grove owned car. It sounds like Kraig Kinser was informed late in the season he would not return to that seat for 2025. And supposedly Grove is on the hunt for a new driver. It was a tough year for Kraig, just 2 top 10s, a 9th at Peevely in April and a 7th at Eldora in May. Changes coming. Not sure what Kraig would do if he is out of this car, but I do think that this 70 machine is possible to return to the Outlaws just with a different driver. So to wrap, of the 12 full-timers in 2024, we're likely losing one for sure, although one or two more could be possible. But we know we're gaining Cole Macedo, and there should still be at least one more addition coming that we expect an announcement for here fairly soon. At Bakersfield today, the USAC Midgets will continue their march towards the end of the season with the second to last race of 2024. This race was supposed to happen on Tuesday, but weather pushed it to today, and the track has been working nonstop to make sure the facility is ready to go. A big shout out, by the way, to these California promoters this week for making these races happen. Doug Lockwood and his team at Merced did huge work to get those races in last weekend, and now the effort at Bakersfield from Scott Schweitzer and his group. The expected entry list for tonight is at 36 at last check. That includes Kyle Larson and the USAC Midget debut for Kyle Busch. Busch will run tonight and Saturday at Ventura for Turkey Night to get himself ready to run Chili Bowl in January. I don't know that I've seen it anywhere, but I'm assuming it's basically a foregone conclusion that Busch will also run the Tulsa Shootout. Busch's dirt racing effort, including cars for his son Brexton, have been maintained here lately by Big Al Scroggins, who's pretty legendary in this kind of midget micro world. I think a reasonable goal for Busch tonight is to make the feature. He made nearly 30 winged micro starts in 2024, and I think he'll be more respectable out there than some people are kind of giving him credit for. This isn't a guy who's never been on dirt before. He's had a tough go here lately in NASCAR, but he's still one of the most talented race car drivers of this generation. We'll also be watching the championship battle tonight between Dazen Persley and Cannon McIntosh. They enter separated by 54 points, and the odds are definitely in Persley's favor. But this thing isn't over just yet. Any issues for Persley today, and Cannon Mac could have a real shot come Turkey Night. If you're going to be placing any wagers tonight, Kyle Larson, the betting favorite right now for the win over Logan Seavey and Buddy Kofoid. Larson has won 4 of his last 5 USAC Midget starts going back to Placerville in 2023. The last time Young Money was outside the top 5 in a USAC show was 2021, although he's only made 9 starts since then. Seavey is the defending Bakersfield race winner, while Kofoid won there in 2021 and 2020. Remember that you can do all your pre-betting research over in the analytics section at DIRTRACKR.com. 5 years worth of USAC midget results and analysis available there. A lot of that's available for free. You can get a little bit more, though, with Dirt Tracker Plus. That's just $4.99 a month. Did you guys see the fast sprint car announcement from yesterday evening? Interesting to note as we watch this kind of regional sprint car game continue to move and shift. But Kevin Newton and Honest Abe Roofing jumping on to partner up with Aaron Fry and Fast next year. This comes not long after the announced return of the All-Star Circuit of Champions to Ohio, but also not too long after Honest Abe had already become the title sponsor of POWRi's Regional 410 Series. Newton had previously backed the Maverick Series, and with it looking like POWRi has aims to expand north and east into some of that same area that Maverick was trying to lock down, it's curious to see Newton now kind of spread his support to a different series. Certainly good news for those that will run fast next year, as the release from the series points to enhanced tow money and point fund for 2025. As Fry kind of faces a future where he needs to contend for tracks and drivers with Rich Farmer in the All-Stars, this added support will certainly make that easier, but a lot of intrigue here with this regional stuff. If you want some other dirt racing audio this week while you prepare those Thanksgiving meals, Dirt Track Confessions has Steve Post, Hoagie's Garage has Garrett Benson, and there are new episodes of The Dirt Reporters, The Dirt Nerds, Dirt Tracks and Rib Racks, Ohio Dirt, and The Drivers Project. To see a full listing of dirt racing shows and their newest episodes, head over to DIRTRACKR.com/podcasts. That's the show for today. We will have a fresh daily tomorrow, so don't forget about the show in between all of those holiday festivities. Hope you guys have a great Wednesday out there. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.